Welcome to another McAfee and Taft Link webinar. Today's topic, unions, union avoidance, and the labor board. What's in store for employers? If you think the decisions and actions taken by the National Labor Relations Board apply only to unionized workplaces, think again. In fact, the NLRB exercises significant authority over non-union employers in a number of ways, not only enacting changes designed to make it easier for employees to organize, but also regulating employers' policies and practices. In this presentation, our expert speakers will review local and national trends for unionizing and assist employers in understanding the current NLRB landscape, including the applicability of labor laws and the NLRB to non-union employers, current and proposed changes, both big and small, aimed at making union organizing easier, the importance of being proactive when it comes to union avoidance, the common denominator for successful union campaigns, and what employers can do to reduce their vulnerability. Today, McAfee and Taft labor and employment attorney Charlie Plumb is joined by special guest Phil Wilson, President and General Counsel of Labor Relations Institute, the nation's leading full-service labor and positive employee relations consulting firm. A nationally recognized expert in the field of labor and employee relations, Phil is the author of numerous books and articles on the topics and is regularly featured in business media including Bloomberg News, Fox Business News, MSNBC, Forbes, HR Magazine, and the New York Times. Charlie represents management in all phases of employment law and labor relations. His work in this area includes representing unionized employers in collective bargaining negotiations, arbitrating grievances, and defending management before the National Labor Relations Board, the Department of Justice, and in state and federal courts. He is a frequent author and speaker on labor and employment issues and has been interviewed by local and national media on a variety of state and federal employment law matters. So with those introductions, I now turn it over to you, Charlie.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us. I'm Charlie Plumb. I'm a labor and employment lawyer with McAfee and Taft, and today I'm joined by Phil Wilson, who is President and General Counsel for Labor Relations Institute. And Labor Relations Institute, LRI, is really the nation's premier labor consulting and labor avoidance training firm in the nation, and we work quite a bit with them. So Phil and I today want to talk a little bit about what's going on with unions, the labor board, and what you as an employer should expect in the coming months and can anticipate. So we'll talk a little bit about union activity, both specifically what we're seeing and Phil's experiencing right now in Oklahoma, trends we see around the country. We'll talk about what's happening with the labor board that can impact you as an employer or an HR professional. And Phil, give us a little preview about what you're going to be talking about when it comes to how and why it's important for employers to be proactive. We're going to get into it in a little bit more depth, but when it comes to union avoidance, can you kind of give us a peek of what you're going to hit on that?
Yeah, sure. First, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity, and like you say, we've worked together a lot, and it's fun to just get to bat around some of these hot issues that are happening both in the state and around the country. When it comes to being proactive, Charlie, the main things that we talk to clients about, the language we use is left of boom. So there's this idea, and it kind of came out of the military engagements in Afghanistan and Iraq, but the military there, the big issue that impacted troops over there was IED attacks, and so they were having a lot of trouble kind of figuring out how to respond to that. And the way that the military referred to it is they called anytime an IED went off, they called it a boom or a bang, and then there was left of boom, which was all the things that led up to the IED going off, and then there was right of boom, which is all the things that you did to respond to it. And so I wrote a book called Left of Boom, and the basic idea is that employers have this exact same issue of there are boom events in the lives of companies. So for example, a union petition would be a boom event, or an EEO claim, or just a group of employees coming in with a petition saying like we're mad about something, policy change. But those are boom events in the lives of companies. And so what we teach is that it's really important for an employer to sort of think about what those boom events might be, and then work your way backwards left of the boom to be proactive to try to make sure that those events don't happen.
Okay.
You still also have to plan for kind of, if boom happens, what would I do? So I'd call Charlie, or I might have a consulting team, or there's things that you plan for after a boom, but all of your leverage as an employer is to work left side of boom. And the great thing about working left of boom is it's not just to avoid a union problem or to avoid a lawsuit, but it's going to help you create a great workplace. So your employees, you're going to have lower turnover. Your employees are going to be more engaged. You're going to have higher quality work. Just everything is better if you're focusing on that left proactive side of boom. And that's things like, training your supervisors and leaders, making sure you're doing a good job of communicating, what's happening, if there's changes occurring, making sure that you're kind of checking in with people on how they're doing, especially as we're kind of coming out of the pandemic. The workforce has been, has undergone like a lot of change and turmoil. And so anything that an employer can do to try to make sure that we're checking in, that people are engaged, that we're providing the kind of work environment that folks want, that is the sort of left of boom proactive things that avoid a lot of the problems we're going to talk about today.